Gandhi's Struggle for Unity and Equality, 1932 to 1939. Gandhi arrived in Bombay at the end of December 1931. Kasturba, Patel, and Rajagopalachari were there to meet him and tell him that Jawaharlal Nehru and several Muslim leaders had just been arrested. The situation had changed. There was a new government in Britain and a new viceroy, Lord Willingdon, in India. That evening, Gandhi spoke to a crowd of 200,000. He was ready to continue the fight of non-violence against the government. He sent a message to the new viceroy, but Willingdon refused to meet him. On the 4th of January 1932, Gandhi was arrested. Once again, Gandhi said goodbye to Kasturba. Once again, there was no trial. Gandhi was driven to Yeravda prison in Pune. This time, the guards wanted to give Gandhi furniture and special food, but he refused. Vallabhbhai Patel and Mahadev Desai were in prison with him, and they were allowed to meet. Patel was always able to make them laugh, but Gandhi was worried about Kasturba and Devadas, who had also been sent to prison. In August, the British government decided to give the Untouchables a separate assembly. Gandhi had already decided that if this happened, he would fast to death. Gandhi believed strongly that the Untouchables should be accepted by everyone, not kept separate, and he wanted Dr. Ambedkar to change his mind about the separate assembly. Gandhi wrote to Tagore and to the Indian leaders to explain the reasons for the fast, and news about the fast appeared in the newspapers. The weather was very hot. Gandhi lay on a bed outside under a tree. He drank only water and became weak very quickly. After a few days, Kasturba was moved from Sabarmati prison to Yeravda to be with Gandhi during the fast. She shook her head when she saw him. "Again, the same story," she said. Gandhi smiled. Sarojini Naidu was brought from the women's prison to help look after Gandhi. Patel and Desai sat near him. Tagore was allowed to visit him, and he sang some of his songs to Gandhi, who was too weak to speak. Tagore said that Gandhi's fast was a message to all India and to the world. Let us try to understand what the message means. Jawaharlal Nehru was in prison, and at first he did not agree with the fast. But all over India, places were open to untouchables. In many cities, Hindus invited untouchables to eat with them. When Nehru heard about the changes in the country, he began to understand. But Dr. Ambedkar disagreed with the fast. His people had suffered terribly for centuries at the hands of the Hindus, but he came to see Gandhi in prison. Rajagopalachari negotiated with Ambedkar, who finally agreed to one assembly, with some seats kept for untouchables. Tagore was with Gandhi when his fast ended, on the 26th of September. Gandhi was released in May 1933. The government had closed Young India, so Gandhi started a new newspaper which he called Harijan. Harijan, which means Children of God, was the name he gave to the untouchables. This name, like untouchables, is now unacceptable. For 10 months, Gandhi traveled all over India, this time speaking only about the untouchables. Wherever he went, he had meetings with them and collected money for them. This was the 5th time he had traveled all over the country. Some people did not agree with his beliefs. In Bihar province, a crowd beat his car with sticks, and in Pune, a bomb was thrown at Gandhi's car, although he was not in it. The government planned to take the land from the ashram at Sabarmati because Gandhi had refused to pay tax, and so Gandhi decided to close the ashram. He was given land for a new ashram in Sevagram, near Wardha, a small town in the center of India. Many orange trees grew there, and it was extremely hot. Most of the villagers in Sevagram were untouchables, and Gandhi began to teach them how to spin. In 1934, Gandhi decided to leave Congress to give younger leaders the chance to lead. Indians were now involved in the government of India, and in 1937 there were elections. It was clear that Muslims were not voting for Congress. The Muslim League, led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah, was popular in some parts of India. Jinnah had studied law in London. He had belonged to Congress but left in 1920. He did not like Gandhi's beliefs about changing the lives of Indians. He believed that Congress was a Hindu group and Gandhi a Hindu leader, and that the Muslim League was the only group for Muslims. Jinnah now wanted a separate Muslim nation. Gandhi thought that talk of two nations was unhelpful and irresponsible. Each part of India consisted of different groups who had lived together for centuries. Gandhi did have some strong Muslim followers. Ghaffar Khan was a Congress leader who believed in non-violence. He was born in 1890 in the mountains in the northwest of India, near the Khyber Pass. He and his brother began to follow Gandhi's ideas in 1919 when he organized Gandhi's strike in his village, Utmanzai, near Peshawar. His family was rich, but he lived like a poor man, and he was sent to prison many times by the British. The government had refused to allow Gandhi to visit the Northwest for a long time, but in 1938 he was allowed to visit twice, and in 1939 he went again with Kasturba. Ghaffar Khan was his guide as he visited many villages. He spoke to the crowds about nonviolence, about Khadi, and about the need to change women's lives, and of course he spoke about his dream, that Muslims and Hindus would live and work together peacefully. The two men looked very different. Ghaffar Khan was tall and thin with a beard, and Gandhi was very small, but their beliefs were the same. Kasturba was arrested in Rajkot in 1939, and Gandhi wrote to her every day. Finally, he went to Rajkot himself and fasted until she was allowed to leave prison. The Second World War was coming, and Gandhi was asked many times about his opinion of Hitler, who had been voted into government in Germany. Gandhi's belief in nonviolence was stronger than before. He thought that the horror of this war would be greater than the First World War, but he did not believe in any war. Many visitors from all over the world came to see Gandhi at Sevagram Ashram. His old friend Herman Kallenbach visited him from South Africa for 2 months at the beginning of 1939. Gandhi continued to wake up early every day. He wrote letters, ate little, and walked every day, usually with the women of the ashram. He enjoyed talking to his companions and to visitors, and he loved playing with the children of the ashram. If anyone became ill, Bapu would help to care for them. For years he looked after a man with leprosy, a terrible disease which most people feared. Visitors noticed his frequent laughter, but they also noticed his sadness. The violence of the war was painful to Gandhi. He argued with God in the secret of his heart, he wrote, because God allowed these terrible things to happen, but he would go on without losing faith in God.